welcome back. I hope everybody had a great weekend and a beautiful Mother's Day. The last 2 weeks we talked about plants. We talked about the parts of a plant. We talked about the life cycle of a plant and why plants were important. So now I want to move into something else that is important and also is important to plants. And that's going to be insects. We're going to be talking a lot about insects. I know, creepy, crawly, gross bugs, but they're really important, and we're going to learn that the next 2 weeks. We're going to talk about what makes an insect. We're going to talk about the body parts of an insect, their life cycle, just like we talked about the plant's life cycle. And we're going to talk most importantly why we need them, because I know we think, ew, bugs, yucky, but they really are very helpful to us and to our environment. So the first book I have here that I want to read, the title is, It's a Good Thing There Are Insects. I know, I didn't believe it either until I read this book. Now, this book I want to talk about the fact that if you look at our illustrations or our pictures, they're photographs, boys and girls. Let me see, the light's a little funny down here. They're photographs. So when we're looking at a book that's going to tell us about insects, which are real, and it's showing us photographs, is it going to be a fiction book or a nonfiction book? Right. It's going to be nonfiction, which means it's going to be true. The author wrote this book to teach us something. Okay, so it's something we're going to keep in mind. We've been reading a lot of nonfiction books, but I promise we have a couple fun fiction books that we're going to read too about insects. So I am going to put the book here because it's kind of a bigger one, and the illustrations are awesome, and I really want you to see them. But before I do that, I'm reading this book with the permission of Children's Press. So let's get started. Sometimes we call them bugs, but their real name is insects. That's our big sciencey term, my friends. All insects have 6 legs, like a grasshopper. That's important, remember that, 6 legs. Most insects, like flies, have wings. Some insects live in trees, and some live in water, like water beetles. Some insects, including ants, make their homes in the ground. You've probably seen that, all the little ants, and they go in the little hill. They have their own little town where each ant does its own kind of work. It's funny, isn't it, friends? Ants, ew. But they have their own little town, and they all do all kinds of work, and they're very strong. A caterpillar forms a shell called a chrysalis around itself. In the chrysalis, the caterpillar changes into a butterfly. This home for bees is called a hive. Some insects are harmful to people, so some aren't all that great, right? Mosquitoes can bite you. Wasps can sting you. Locusts can eat a farmer's crops. That's the thing, boys and girls. These bugs, they eat leaves and they eat plants. So sometimes they can really, like these guys, the locusts, they really kind of destroy their plants. But insects are helpful to us in many ways. We get silk from the cocoon of a silkworm. So that soft fabric you feel, silk, we get that from an insect. We get honey from bees. As bees fly from flower to flower, they carry pollen to help the flowers grow. If you guys watched Farmer Andrea's video, you saw that they have some bees right on their farm, and they actually have a big box, and they actually have it so that they're growing, or I shouldn't say growing, the bees are making honey, and they're making a home for the bees because they want lots of bees. Because the bees fly from flower to flower and help them to replant their seeds. Remember we talked about seeds getting moved? The bees are the best for that. So while bees are scary and they sting you and you try to stay away from them, if it wasn't for bees, we wouldn't have as many flowers that we have. Some insects are pretty, like this monarch butterfly. I've seen some beautiful butterflies outside these days, friends. Insects serve as food too. Many animals and birds and fish and reptiles live by eating insects. Here, this frog is eating this fly. Those frogs wouldn't be able to do anything if they couldn't eat their flies. This bird is eating this big old bug here. But they leave the walking stick alone. They think it's a twig. So this insect is really cool, friends. He's got his 6 legs. We can tell he's an insect. And he looks like a stick. So he hides a lot. And some insects glow in the dark like a firefly or a lightning bug. I love when I see those. Boys and girls, the weather's going to start getting warmer. And in the summer, you're going to see lots of these outside. And they're super cool because they light up. Some insects make sounds like a cricket. So the next time you see a beetle or a ladybug, remember, it's a good thing there are insects. And then our book has some pictures of insects in the back, but we'll move on from there. So we do need insects. They serve as food for certain animals. We need the bees because the bees, they make honey that we can eat, and they really help those other flowers grow. Like Farmer Andrea has a whole bunch of them, and they want more. The more bees, the better, because it helps those plants grow into new plants. So they're not always bad, right? Yes, bees can sting us, so we have to stay away from them. But if we're kind to them, they should be pretty kind to us. All right, so we talked about our insects, and we talked about what's important. And here I have my parts of an insect, because that's important to know the parts of what makes him an insect. We have the antennas here, but the main things that really make an insect is they have 3 body parts. I know it kind of looks like 4 with this little bump here, but that's connected. So insects have 3 main body parts. They have a head, a thorax. Can you say that, friends? Thorax, good. And then they have an abdomen at the end here. Can you say that, friends? Abdomen. So they have these 3 parts. They don't always have wings like our book said, but they do always have 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. We kind of talked in the beginning of the year about spiders. Guess what? Spiders are not insects. And do you know why they're not insects? If you said because they have too many legs, you were right. An insect has 6 legs. A spider has 8. Not an insect, right, friends? I have a book that I'm going to send out to your parents, but I don't have a printer, so I wasn't able to print it up. But I want to show this to you, and I'm going to send this out to your parents. So I'm going to use Oliver's Chromebook here, and I'm going to bring this close, and hopefully you can see it. And then, like I said, I'll send it to your parents. How do you know if an animal is an insect? Just count the legs. All insects have 6 legs. And they show our example of our spider here that has 8. And then it shows our ladybug who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. So that's very important. Also, all insects have 3 body parts. They have a head, thorax, and an abdomen. So this is a different insect than our ant that we saw back there. This is a beetle. So if we look at the beetle, we can see here's his abdomen, here's his thorax, and here's his head. Okay, so those are the 2 main things to tell if an insect is an insect. So I have some examples here, hi Mabel, of insects and non-insects. And I'm going to show you some of these. And then the work activities that I sent home for you guys is, you guys are going to label your own insect. It looks a lot like our ant here. So you can use this if you need to. You can pause the video right here and use that to help you fill out your worksheet when you do it, to label your parts. If you need help, you can look back at this. You're also going to have a little sort of sorting. There's all different things of whether they are an insect or not an insect. So I'm going to mix up my 4 that I just have here. We'll do a couple together before I send you off to do your own. All right. The first picture we have is a bee. So let's think. Does a bee have 6 legs? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He does. Does he have 3 body parts? 1, 2, 3. Yep, there's his head, thorax, and his abdomen. So a bee goes in my insect column because he's an insect. Here, my next thing that I have, let me get my tape ready. It's a fish. Isn't he cute? There's my fish. Does my fish have 6 legs? Nope. Does he have 3 body parts? Nope. Is he an insect? Nope. So I'm going to put him on the not an insect side. All right, next up, we have a beautiful butterfly. The butterfly has 3 body parts, a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. He does have 6 legs. Mine, you can't see, I made him too small. So he does have 6 legs. So he has 6 legs, 3 body parts. What do you think? Is a butterfly an insect? Sure is. So I'm going to put that on my insect side. And my last guy down here, he kind of reminds me of a bug or an insect. It's a worm. Ugh. He gives me the heebie-jeebies like a bug or an insect, but does he have 6 legs? I don't see any legs. Nope. Does he have 3 body parts? He's just one long worm. So is that an insect? Nope. He's going to go over in the not an insect pile. So, boys and girls, today we talked about insects and why they're important to us. We said they're important because they help feed animals. They also help pollinate and grow more plants, and they help those seeds move around. We talked about what makes an insect an insect. The head, thorax, and abdomen, the 3 body parts, and 6 legs. So today your activity is to label your own ant and sort your own things and letting me know if they're an insect or not an insect. All right, great job today, friends. Can't wait to see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.